leave here at home or contributing to missions overseas, we carry that same determination and commitment to serve. When I wear the uniform, I think about those who come before me, ordinary Australians and New Zealanders who were called to do extraordinary things. The original Anzacs faced an unimaginable trials ecologically and beyond, and they did so with resilience, courage, and a deep sense of duty to one another. That spirit continues to shape who we are as a defence force and as a nation. For me, Anzac Day is a personal moment. It is a moment to reflect not only on those who laid down their lives, but also on the responsibility we carry as current servicemen and women to live up to their legacy and to honour their memory through our own service, conduct and commitment. It is also a day to stand with the community, to feel the quiet strength of the silence of the dawn service, to share stories, memories and gratitude with Australians from all walks of life, and to remind ourselves that the Anzac spirit isn't just about war, it's about looking after each other, standing firm in tough times, and never taking freedom for granted. Remembering those who never come home, those who return carrying invisible wounds, and their families who bore the weight of their service. Their sacrifices are the reason we enjoy the freedom and peace we have today. It means honouring the past, serving in the present, and committing to a future where the sacrifices of our forebearers are never forgotten. It means remembering that as members of the ADF, we are living legacy of the Anzacs, and with that comes responsibility to uphold their values and live with the same courage and integrity they showed in the most trying times. So today, I stand in remembrance, in respect, and in pride, not only as a member of the RAF, but as part of something much bigger, a story that continues to be written with every person who serves, remembers, and carries the Anzac spirit forward. Let's be together.
Now I bring up Sparko. She's got a poem to read to us.
In Waters Deep by Eileen Mahoney. In ocean wastes, no poppies blow, no crosses stand in ordered row. Their young hearts sleep beneath the wave, the spirited, the good, the brave. But stars a constant vigil keep for them who lie beneath the deep. 'Tis true you cannot kneel in prayer on certain spot and think he's there. But you can to the ocean go, see whitecaps marching row on row. No one for him will always ride in and out with every tide. And when your span of life is past, he'll meet you at the captain's mast. And they who mourn on distant shore for sailors who'll come home no more can dry their tears and pray for these who rest beneath the heaving seas, for stars that shine and winds that blow, and white caps marching row on row. And they can never lonely be, for when they lived, they chose the sea.
My turn now. Anzac. World War I. Before Anzac, Australia and New Zealand cooperated, taking out German Samoa and then German New Guinea to clear German radios and the communications in the South Pacific. New Zealand, with the Samoan Expeditionary Force, transported a convoy of troop ships escorted by New Zealand Naval Forces, HMS Philomel, HMNZ Philomel, along with the Australian Navy's HMAS Paramus and HMAS Psyche, later joined by HMAS Australia and HMAS Melbourne and a French cruiser Montcalm. After that success, the Australian Navy and Military Expedition Force, a small volunteer force of approximately 2,000 men, then joined by HMAS Sydney and some destroyers, they set to take the German depot across German New Guinea. Meanwhile, the 1st Australian Imperial Force was formed and the 1st Division departed Australia from Albany, Western Australia, on the 1st of November 1914. In convoy of 10 transports, escorted by several British, Australian and Japanese warships, initially bound for the British-controlled Egypt, with a stopover in Ceylon, the convoy were delayed several times due to of interception from German warships in the area. The fears later proved valid when the German cruiser Emden was sighted off the Cocos Island. As the convoy steered to avoid the threat, the Australian cruiser HMAS Sydney engaged the Emden with her heavier guns, and after an engagement that lasted only 25 minutes, the Sydney emerged victorious. The threat of the German squadron neutralised, the convoy was able to continue in its voyage unmolested. Upon their arrival in Egypt in November, the 1st Division moved to Camp Mina near Cairo, where they were used to defend the Suez Canal against Turkey, which had declared war on the 29th of October. The Australians commenced a period of training to prepare them for combat on the Western Front, as it was still expected they would be sent to England for deployment to the European theatre. As they waited, the Australian and New Zealand forces in Egypt at the time were formed into the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, under the command of British Army Lieutenant General William Birdwood, and consisting of the Australian 1st Division and the composite New Zealand and Australian Division, NZ&A. Also in there were Brits, Indians, Zionists, and Ceylon. The Anzacs were to land on the north of Gabatepe on the Aegean coast, from where they would advance across the peninsula and prevent retreat for the reinforcement of Kilimanjaro. The Anzac Assault Force, the 3rd Brigade of the Australian 1st Division, began to go ashore shortly after dawn at 4:30 a.m. on the 25th of April 1915. The intended landing zone was a broad front centred about a mile north of Gabe Tepe. Possibly due to navigation error or unexpected currents, the landing went awry and the boats concentrated a mile and a half further north. Then it's attended shallow, nameless cove, but Ari Brunner to the north and Hell Spit to the south since 1985. The cove has been officially known as Anzac Koyu or Anzac Cove. That, my fellow Aussies, is the beginning of the legend and the reason we gather here this morning. We're here to commemorate and remember the sacrifice of all our representatives in conflict, whatever it was called, peacekeeping, police action, emergency, those that fell and those that returned unharmed, or with their own personal turmoil. I now ask Kim Grace to come and say the ode.
They went with songs to the battle. They were young, straight of limb, true of eye, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end against odds unimaginable. They fell with their faces to the foe. They shall grow not old, as we that are left to grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them, lest we forget.